Am I the asshole for being furious when my sibling borrowed my car without asking for my permission? Again? Hi, I'm 25VF, and I need some perspective on whether I'm overreacting or if I have every right to be furious at my sibling. Here's the backstory. I'm the oldest in my family with one younger sibling, Sam, 21 WM. We've had a pretty typical sibling relationship growing up. We fought over stupid things. I'd steal their stuff. They'd rat me out to our parents. Nothing out of the ordinary. But over the years, we've become pretty close. However, there's one thing that has consistently driven me insane, and it's been a point of contention between us for as long as I can remember. Sam's sense of entitlement when it comes to my stuff, particularly my car. Now, I don't want to come off as possessive, but there's a major issue here. I'm extremely careful with my things, especially my car. I worked hard for it, saved for years, and finally bought it last year. It's a used car, but it's mine, and I take a lot of pride in how I maintain it. I pay for everything related to it: insurance, gas, repairs. I value my car because it's one of the few things I've been able to buy completely on my own. Sam, on the other hand, is still living with our parents. He's a college student, and he doesn't have his own car, so he relies on public transportation or occasionally borrows our parents' car when he needs it. But there's been this ongoing problem where, whenever Sam needs a car, he automatically assumes I'll just let him borrow mine. At first, I didn't mind so much. He's my sibling, and I get it. Sometimes we all need a favor, and I was happy to help out. But over time, this pattern of him borrowing my car without asking first, using it for days without permission, and then returning it in a half-assed state, began to get under my skin. A couple of weeks ago, it reached a boiling point. This all started last month when I had a huge project at work. I'm an architect at a small firm, and we had a tight deadline for a major client. I was working overtime, staying late at the office, and commuting to various job sites all over the city. I was beyond exhausted and needed my car in top condition to handle all the driving. I had a lot of errands and appointments scheduled that week, including some with clients, so my car was my lifeline. The Friday before the big weekend rush, I came home after a long day of meetings and job site inspections. When I pulled into my parking space, I noticed something immediately: Sam's sneakers in the doorway of my parking spot. I didn't think much of it at first, assuming maybe he was outside talking to one of his friends. But then I looked over and saw my car was gone. I immediately texted Sam, "Hey, where's my car?" Sam, "I'm using it to run a quick errand. I'll be back in an hour." I was dumbfounded. I called him, and when he answered, I could feel the irritation in my voice. "You took my car without asking me? Again?" Sam, "Yeah, I figured you wouldn't mind. I just needed it for a bit. I didn't think it would be a big deal." I was so frustrated I couldn't even speak for a second. Not a big deal? I told him multiple times before that he needed to ask before borrowing my car. He'd done this once before, and it ended in a big argument. The last time he borrowed it, he returned it with a dent and had the audacity to tell me it just happened while he was parking. I had just gotten it fixed and had made it clear that I didn't want to go through that again. I didn't care if he just needed it for a bit. My car was not just a random resource for him to use whenever it was convenient. And yet, this was happening again. I tried to calm myself down, but I was beyond annoyed. I started pacing around my apartment, texting Sam again. "Sam, this is the second time you've taken my car without asking. I'm really upset right now, and you need to bring it back as soon as possible." His reply came a few minutes later. "Sam, okay, I'm sorry. I'll be back in 20 minutes. Relax." When Sam finally returned my car, I was standing outside waiting for him. He parked it without even acknowledging me. I was already stewing, and as soon as he got out, I let him have it. "Sam, we've talked about this. Why do you keep doing this? You can't just take my car without permission. It's not like I have an extra car to use." He immediately shrugged, looking unbothered. "Sam, come on, it's not a big deal. You always overreact." Me? Not a big deal. You took my car for hours without asking me first. I'm working long hours, and the one thing I need, my car, you take it like it's some kind of free-for-all. I've told you before how important this is to me. Sam, you're just being dramatic. It's just a car. It's not like I crashed it or anything. I could feel my blood pressure rising. His complete lack of understanding was driving me crazy. This wasn't just about the car, it was about respect. He had no boundaries, no consideration for my time or my needs, and it wasn't like this was the first time either. I had asked him repeatedly to respect my space, my things, and to communicate with me if he needed something. Yet he acted as though it was his right to borrow my car whenever he felt like it. Me. It's not just a car, Sam. This is about being respectful of my things. You need to stop treating me like I'm just here to cater to your needs. At this point, he got defensive. His tone shifted, and I could feel the walls coming up. Sam, you're making a big deal out of nothing. I've borrowed it before, and nothing happened. It's not like I'm ruining your life. Me? It's the principle of it. You don't ask, you just assume it's okay. It's disrespectful. And if you ever do this again, I'll be seriously reconsidering how we share this apartment. He let out a loud sigh, clearly fed up. Sam, whatever. You're always blowing things out of proportion. I'll just take the bus next time. I could feel the tension between us. He stormed off, leaving me standing there, fuming. I was so upset I couldn't even bring myself to go back inside my apartment right away. I had to take a moment to calm down. I thought I'd finally gotten through to Sam. After our argument, he didn't mention borrowing my car again for a couple of weeks. I thought things had settled, and maybe he'd learned his lesson. But this past weekend, everything came crashing down again. It was a Saturday morning, and I had plans to meet up with some friends. I was getting ready when I realized I couldn't find my keys. After checking my bag, my desk, and my coat pockets, I started to panic. I knew I hadn't lost them, and then I had a sinking feeling. I rushed to the parking lot and saw that my car was gone again. I texted Sam immediately. Me, did you take my car again? His response was immediate. Sam, yeah, I needed it to run an errand. I'll be back in a few hours. I couldn't believe it. I was livid. Not only did he ignore my previous request to ask first, but he also just took it without even discussing it with me. Again. I called him, and this time I didn't hold back. Me, are you serious right now? You've taken my car again without asking, and this is the last straw. I've told you I can't just keep letting you do this. Sam, I was just going to use it for an hour. Why are you overreacting? You're acting like I stole it. Me, this is stealing, Sam. You don't ask, you don't communicate, and you just take without regard for how it affects me. This is not okay anymore. At this point, I felt so done with the whole situation. I told him that until he could show respect for my space and my belongings, I would no longer be allowing him to borrow my car. He needed to figure out another way to get around. When he came back, I was already packed and ready to head out. I didn't even want to be in the same room as him. It's been a few days since the blow-up, and honestly, I'm still angry. I haven't spoken to Sam much other than a few short texts. He apologized, but I don't know if I can just let this slide anymore. So, Reddit, I'm the asshole for being absolutely furious when my sibling borrowed my car without asking again? I don't know if I'm being too harsh, but at this point, I'm seriously considering cutting ties until he can learn how to respect my boundaries.